What's up guys, Abe here. So, several weeks ago, Cygames releases a new trailer for the new upcoming game, Granblue Fantasy Relink. And honestly, as a Granblue Fantasy fan, I just can't hold back my hype for this game. And in this video, I want to give some new perspective as the browser game player myself, the potential this game can hold. If you guys don't know yet, Granblue Fantasy is a gacha browser game developed by Cygames. It's an RPG where you form a party to fight in battles, to collect loots to make your party even stronger. The game has a massive following, especially in Japan, with amazing art and character design directed by Hideo Minaba, who've worked on Final Fantasy franchises, along with the amazing music directed by Nobuo Uematsu himself, famously known for his work on huge titles like Final Fantasy VII and Chrono Trigger. The game may look simplistic, where you play with character sprites to fight enemies, but it is more than that. Cool character design, amazing stories and world building, and the challenges that comes from this game. Heck, forget the point that I say the game looks simplistic. Now, even the sprite animation is on a new level for a browser game. All of this aspect is what makes Granblue Fantasy lovable to many fans. Now, imagine this browser game being upgraded to a full action RPG game. The comparison is insane. The amazing scenery that you could only imagine is now realized into a game. The normal monsters that you encounter now looks more real and challenging. Even this evil eye monster, which in the browser game I could easily beat with a couple of cats, now will look much cooler and challenging. To action RPG fans, this game might be just another fantasy RPG game to you if you haven't played the browser game yet. But as a Granblue fan, this is going to be one of the best games that's going to come out. The feelings is just the same like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake. We go from this to this, and people loved it. And that's what I feel as well with Granblue Fantasy Relink. And I'm confident that Cygames can pull it off very well, considering they always do their maximum effort into their game. Now, with half of the video already filled with bias, how about we go in depth of what we can expect in Granblue Fantasy Relink, along with the concerns that comes with it. But before we get into that, if you enjoyed the video so far, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It will help me a lot and I'll make sure to push out much better content for you in the future. Now the first thing that I want to talk about is gameplay. Strikes, magic, ground combo, air combo. Granblue Fantasy Relink seems to have the basic attack pattern of any action RPG, but with their own flavor. They took the skills from the original game and redefined it in an action RPG setting. Some skills are referenced from their fighting game Granblue Fantasy Versus as well. From what we can see from the demo gameplays, you can use these skills as part of your attack combo or just as a utility of their own. Relink also have battle features that comes from the browser game, such as charge attacks and chain combos to deal significant amount of damage to the enemy. Enemy overdrives, where your enemy will go into overdrive mode and deal more damage and do special attacks. And enemy breaks, where basically you stagger your opponent for a free hit. The main character of Granblue Fantasy can choose between so many classes in the browser game, but I think that's just too much for Relink. So my guess is that they will only make the main character use the fighter class with one-handed weapon. And the class system became a class arts gimmick where you can stack up class arts from doing combos to make your skills stronger. Equipments in Relink seems to not use the grid system like Granblue Fantasy or Granblue Fantasy Versus RPG mode, which a bit of a shame since grid system seems like a good way to make your party break their limit and deal more and more damage as you go further into the game, while in Relink we were shown that weapons that you use will have upgrades called worlds, which has bonus effects similar to weapon skills in the browser game, such as boost to attack based on how high your HP is, or boost the critical hit rate, etc. They made it more simple, but I think it's for the best. Then for the environments we see in the demo gameplays, the map seems to be linear and dungeon-like, but we will see if the game will become more open world much later when the game came out. Next, we have the story. I can't say too much for this one because it can be spoilers to the plot of Granblue Fantasy. But one thing for sure, and this might be spoilers as well, the story mode of this game will most likely be very different from the original browser game. Hence, why I think they called the game Granblue Fantasy Relink. One of the reasons I say this is because this guy, Roland, does not exist in the original Granblue Fantasy game, and there are hints of other new characters from promotional covers, demos, and trailers that Cygames released before. So for Granblue Fantasy fans, we will have a total different story experience from Relink. But one thing for sure that will be the same is a young adventurer with his partner the Red Dragon encounters the girl in blue and sets off to a great adventure. Last thing, and the one I'm most concerned about, is characters and contents. Granblue Fantasy has been running for almost 8 years now. This doesn't mean that I want 8 years of content stitched together on a 3-year development full RPG game. That's just too impossible. But from what we can see from Cygames, presentation of content seems limited. The characters they reveal are just the main rosters of the crew, Roland, the new character, the 4 Dragon Knights, Charlotta, and Yodarha. From this alone, the character pool seems lonely. I'm not trying to say that they should include all characters from the browser game, which there are hundreds of them now. It just seems lacking. They didn't even have characters from the other 2 races, the Arunes and the Drafts. Besides character, Granblue Fantasy have a lot of side stories that has super entertaining story and characters. There are also side stories that makes a huge impact to the game, like what makes the sky blue. This side story basically impacts the canon lore of this game, and their villains became one of the high difficulties rates in this game, and their loots became an important components to upgrade endgame weapons. There are many other interesting side stories that has happened in this game, like the Society side stories that features Zeta and Fasaraga, who is a playable character in Versus, or the Eternal side stories that feature Seox, who is also a playable character in Versus. And of course, like my previous point, I don't expect Cygames to immediately put this kind of stories in the game. I'm just saying that Granblue Fantasy Relink has so much potential to be the best JRPG that's going to come out. Rumor has it that this game will be a single release and not a live service game, meaning that they won't be constantly updating this game, which is confusing to me because they reveal that this game has a co-op mode where you can play with other players. If content is not constantly updated, the game could go boring really quick. But still, I'm saying all of this with the most limited information and rumors that I can gather. Who knows, maybe there will be a lot of DLC for this game. Maybe there will be more characters we can play the more we go further in the game. Maybe the side stories and the side quests in this game will have their own interesting stories of their own. Who knows? I don't know yet, and we can only know if Cygames decide to give more info about the game, or we can know when the game is finally released. But I'm sure that we will have the best first experience playing this game. The game looks very fun and it's super beautiful, and I'm sure it will be worth the wait. The game is set to be released in 2022. The exact date is not yet announced. We might get more info in the month of March, when there will be tons of live stream from Cygames celebrating the anniversary of Granblue Fantasy. So let's wait for that first. And that's all my thoughts about Granblue Fantasy Relink. If you think there is something I missed out or mistaken, please let me know in the comments down below. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already, more content coming soon, so stay tuned. And I'll see you guys next time.